staying with the story, let's bring you some analysis. We're joined now by Amira El Sayed, a political analyst and writer and editor at the Egyptian Gazette. She's live with us from Cairo. Amira, thank you so much for your time. We are seeing, of course, that talks to try and resolve Sudan's political crisis are hitting a deadlock. Recent developments show that the military is essentially consolidating its grip on power despite international pressure to return to civilian rule. In your view, Amira, what can be done to ensure the military, in fact, sticks to the plan to hand over to civilian leadership?
Since the 25th of October, Sudan has been plunged into like a whirlwind of political instability, and such instability reached its peak yesterday when 15 people lost their lives as the armed forces used like force in order to oppress people who were talking to streets to express their anger against the military takeover. Despite the international condemnation, we have seen that Al-Burhan is moving ahead with his plan as if he is trying to impose the status quo. We have seen, for example, the U.S. State Secretary said from Kenya that there should be the political or there should be democratic handover for the rule in Sudan. We have seen also the Arab countries, they are trying to ease the tension. We have seen a vital role played by Saudi Arabia in the last period in order to find a way out of this crisis through dialogue. But what we have seen on the real ground that now Al-Burhan is moving ahead with a certain scenario. He formed a transitional sovereignty council. He wants to bring the civilians back, but according to his own scenario, there will be civilians according to this council, but the military will have an upper hand, and this definitely is refused by all the international community. So I think that there will be like more we can say more strict actions in order to put an end to the bloodshed in Sudan.
And what might those strict actions or firmer actions from the international community look like? Are we going to see sanctions or perhaps anything more that can be done beyond these threats?
Definitely, there should be sanctions. We have seen in the last period, for example, the World Bank, it suspended its aid to Sudan, though Sudan was struggling in order to find access to such billions of dollars. We have seen also the US froze like $700 million. But such sanctions, we have seen that the Sudanese people also, they are bearing a brunt of such economic sanctions, because now the Sudanese economy is in dire straits, and the hard, we can say the hard-won economic reform is now being hardest hit by such economic sanctions. There has been also a certain report that the Congress is mulling over a certain resolution to impose sanctions over army leaders in order to all those who were responsible for such oppressing demonstrations, they should be held accountable. So I think there should be more sanctions, but a sanction that did not harm the Sudanese people who were bearing the brunt of such economic and political instability. We have seen in the last period that Sudan was trying to be back on track in terms of economic stability, but now definitely the recent decisions by the World Bank or the United States, it has definitely a negative impact on the Sudanese economy. Maybe there will be more severe sanctions in the upcoming period for those who are responsible for this dilemma in Sudan.
Indeed, these sanctions are not without some unintended consequences. Thanks as always for your analysis.